days from now, nobody will stop me from being the one that'll throw the switch and gas you out of this life for good, you son of a bitch!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'm connecting the bypass circuit now, sir. It should take another half hour.
Captain, one of the aliens has just entered the bridge.
Understood.
We're less than 1 million kilometers.
Hello and welcome to episode 2. Yes, episode 2, ladies, of Women of Nerd Culture podcast. I'm Sarah, one of your hosts, and I'm joined by my two lovely co-hosts, the Mistress of Monsters, Sammie, and Lady of Space, the Final Frontier, Becca. Now,
she's all cosmic-y.
Yes, with the background, especially for that one.
It works.
Now, before I give a quick intro to this episode, I think it might be a good idea, especially for this subject, to get the disclaimer in nice and early. So why don't we start with that?
Okie dokie, I think that's a good idea. So, everything discussed in today's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you'd like to discuss anything from today's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook page, the Discord, or the comment section, where we can have an open discussion. But what we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Very firm.
It was towards the end, wasn't it?
Listen,
I feel like that was it's going to be very much needed in this episode.
Right, yes. So this month we are back with an episode about women in video gaming and that culture. We're going to talk about our experiences about it, and we are hoping to have like a balanced episode.
Mm-hmm.
We've all heard stories about how some women are treated when they play live online games like Overwatch or Call of Duty, but once the other players find out that they are women especially, or how some people don't believe that women can be gamers. But we want to also try and have a look at some of the positives as well.
Yeah.
So, as a starting point, we're going to have a quick chat about our background in gaming. So why don't you start us off, Becca, with what's your first experience of gaming?
Okay, so my first experience is actually I got an old SNES Nintendo console very, very early. So that's kind of my first experience with, you know, the old paper. Do any of you remember the Paperboy game where you had to like deliver? That's kind of, and Super Mario, and I'm trying to think, there was Horror One as well. And they're very much my first experiences, and I have that console still. Like my parents still have that console, and I think they actually have 2 of those in their attic, to the point that I sent my dad on a little journey once he's feeling a little bit better to get them out of the attic, just to see if they're still usable with all the games. But yeah, so my first experiences are very, very just me playing by myself in my bedroom, and you know, having my dad play with the games as well. I can remember when I was about 8 or 9, I played Mario, and I can remember the excitement that I had very much of, I got to a new level, and I can remember pausing it until my dad got home. And, you know, and my dad worked like 8 o'clock in the morning to like 6 o'clock at night. So I can remember having this pause in this game and just coming back every couple of minutes just to check it hadn't moved, or to check that the console hadn't turned off, or the television hadn't turned off, so that I could show to my dad that I'd got to this brand new level. But yeah, so I that's kind of my experience. And then I've gone on to Xbox 360s, and that's pretty much where my main console was until I've had like the Wii console, and then I've got onto PC gaming sort of recently. But yeah, I haven't got much experience recently, but it's all kind of in the past when I was a kid, and I'm hoping to get back into sort of that type of gaming.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. How about you, Sammie?
I don't know what the first thing I had, and I can never remember what it is, but it was a keyboard with a tape deck and coloured keys across the top.
I vaguely remember which one you're on about. Yeah, I don't know what the name is either, but I do know it.
That's what the ZX Spectrum, is it?
Or is it that Atari? Maybe?
Or the Atari?
Oh, I don't know. What a great start.
Those are the two that come to mind when you
Yeah.
say it like that.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't anything special. Like I remember vaguely games on it. The special one was the Mega Drive. When I got the Mega Drive, I was the first kid on the street to get the
Awesome.
Mega Drive. And
You're
I
the
had
cool kid.
I really was. And I had a very similar experience to you, Becca. I used to play with my dad, to the point where we would be like, he would do a level, I would do a level. And I remember getting an ear infection and having to be off school all week, and my dad had to like someone had to watch us. So it was like my dad was like, I'll do it, and me and him were just like playing on the Mega Drive all week, to the point where I actually have a perforated eardrum because of that incident. I tried to extend this for a little bit longer, and the Bic pens, the pen lids.
Did you?
Did.
Oh,
You're the reason why there's so many warning labels on things now.
Yeah, I really am. I really am. Yeah, I have a perforated eardrum. My left ear is just non-existent. Like I can't hear a thing out of it. That doesn't help it. Yeah, I wanted to prolong this week off, this amazing week off that I had off with my dad, and I put it in my ear because I'd seen my mum a million times put her glasses around. Yeah. No, it didn't go down too well. And then gaming, like after the 360, after the Mega Drive, gaming kind of like took a back seat. I was very much an outdoors kid. You couldn't keep us in the house unless I was grounded. So then my sister then has the evolution of PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2. I dabble in some of it, like Spyro, and the WWF was SmackDown was one of my favorite games. And then I bought myself my first ever console I bought myself was a Nintendo Cube, all because I wanted to play Resident Evil. And it scared the shit out of us that I don't even think I completed it. I only think I've only ever completed one Resident Evil game. I either get annoyed at it or it gets too scary.
Yeah, I can understand that one.
But then the big thing happens in 2014. 2014 was the year everything changed for us. It was one of the darkest years I've ever had in my life, but it ended with me being a completely different person. And video games was a huge part of that. Huge part. I didn't know how to sort out my anxiety until I started playing video games.
Wow. A big part of your life then.
It was huge. It was such a change. And that was when I got obsessed with the 360. The 360 is my favorite console of all time. But we're a PlayStation family, so you'll have to come to mine and play with the 360. I've got two. I actually have two in the garage. I think one is definitely broken and the other one could potentially be fixed. In that garage we've got two 360s, a Wii, PlayStation 3, about 100 DSs. I don't know how many DSs we went through.
If you've got a charger, I'll grab a charger off you.
I've got I'll have a look actually, because I've got my little pink one that's in the house, and Ant's got the 3D one. Was that a thing? It was like a big chunky thing.
Yeah.
I've been playing it recently, my little pink one.
That's why I want to play it, because I want the little one to be able to do it.
I would hate to see what my Nintendo looks like now. That poor thing.
God. Just think, one day you just stopped playing the DS. You just left it.
It just went.
Yeah.
But I was obsessed with their Mama.
Yeah.
I've never actually played that one.
What?
No,
it's a good game.
I kind of got
addictive.
On the DS. I got addicted to the Professor Layton games.
No, I couldn't do brain teasers and stuff. You will. Uncharted is one of my favorite franchises. I hate the puzzles though. I really hate them. Like I have to go and get answers. I am someone who, if I can't do something and it gets to the point where I'm so agitated, I have to call Anthony. to come and do it. I think it was BioShock. I actually got to the end and had nothing. No ammo, no health, no nothing. And I had to get Anth to come in because it was like the end boss. And Anth had to come in and finish it with nothing.
God.
Wow.
He hated me for that. So yeah, those are my experiences. I mean, I'll go into more, but what's yours, Sarah?
My first experience of gaming starts when I was about 8, and I got a Commodore 64 for Christmas. And that is a one that is the keyboard with the tape deck. It doesn't have coloured buttons though, that's why I didn't suggest that one. It's just a beige keyboard. It had a huge chunk in the middle of the charging cable that was, I assume, the battery. And a joystick as well.
Yes.
So I had with it. And you plugged it into the TV, and it had one of these like massive chunky black cartridges, which had 4 games on it, and that plugged into the back of your keyboard. And there was 4 games on it, like I said, but I only really played 2. And the 4 games were Clax, Flimbo's Quest, a football game, and this Fiendish Freddy's circus thing. The circus thing was just basically a game where you had to try and be a successful performer. You know, like you did the high dive, and you had to. The little cross was where you were going to land as you drove off the board, and you had to try and get it in the pool, and it went higher and higher on each level.
Sorry, someone's banging at my door. 1 minute.
No worries, no problem.
Or there'd be like knives that you threw at the woman on the spinning board to burst the balloons and things. Then there was the generic football game. I wasn't a football fan, so I didn't really touch it.
Nah.
Clax was kind of like a 3D Tetris, where you had coloured tiles coming down the screen towards you.
Yeah.
You caught them, and you had to kind of dump them onto the same colour.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then once you hit 3 or 4, I can't remember what it was, they would disappear and you get points. The last one, which nobody seems to know, was called Flimbo's Quest. And it was this little kid dude, and you just had to go around the level and collect things before you went on the next level. But it was where the level was basically 3 screens. You started in the center screen, and then you could go over to the left, and it would be another screen over to the left, and then you would come back to the center, and then go over to the right, and there would be another screen on the right. And there was a couple of little like enemies in that one as well. But I remember, was it Dickens or Dickinson's in Washington? It had a massive kids play area at the front of the store. It was like a DIY store, and they used to have
yes,
a bargain bin of tapes for the Commodore 64, and I used to go in there and buy like a new game for £1 every so often whenever we went up there. So I was playing things like Park Patrol and things like that.
Oh my God, you've just brought back memories of that. I can't remember what it was called, but I probably didn't even get to the bargain buckets because I was constantly in that play area. I can still picture it. It had a hot air balloon. Like on the ceiling that like dangled down. It was a ball pit. It was amazing. You could like no health and safety because you could literally climb the walls to then jump into this ball pit, and the height was pretty high, wasn't it? Especially for like being a kid. Oh my God, you'll never
out on it.
It was in the middle of a DIY shop.
That's bonkers.
Yeah.
It was the best.
But after that, it kind of like petered out a little bit. I've got a brother who's like 6 years younger than me, and then he picked up kind of like the Mega Drive and that. So although I didn't technically have it myself, I did have little bits of a go on it. And then he got like the original PlayStation, the grey square box.
Oh God, yeah.
And when he got rid of, well, he didn't get rid of it, but when he moved on to a different one, I inherited that and got to play like Rayman or Gex 3D. I played Spyro a bit as well.
Yeah.
And then it kind of petered out for me. I mean, there is another story that happens about the same time, but I'll probably go into that bit a bit later. But then it was kind of only in the last like 10 to 15 years or so that I've kind of got back into gaming, and that's mainly because of my partner Andrew. He always had PlayStations. He always had, World of Warcraft accounts and stuff like that. And he reintroduced me into things like Skyrim and a little bit of Resident Evil. But again, I've got a story about that later on.
Lots of stories.
Just random little bits. Most of my stories are actually from the last few years. Because
mine would be the same.
Yeah, there is quite a big gap, as there seems to be in all of our cases.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like the recent thing of getting back into it.
Well, it was just a means to escape, really. Like 2014 was just it. And I always go back to it because it's like, I feel like that's where like my life started again. Because up until then, it was just work, come home, sleep, eat, repeat. Like there was, and it felt like I had absolutely nothing. Like if I had to identify myself, I don't think I could have. And I was it really, really got us down. Like I was off. There's other factors, but I was off work during this time. And I remember it so well. I said to we lived in a 1-bedroom flat. Ant had his PC because Ant's been into gaming since he was a kid, like it's his whole life. And he had his PC which I actually own now, in the living room, and the 360 was in the bedroom. And I remember going to pick up Grand Theft Auto 5, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna see what this is all about. And it didn't work. The disc was broken. So I picked up one of his Batman games. And that was it. I was Batman. And for the first time in I don't know how long, all these thoughts that I'd had running through my head were gone because I was Batman. And it's probably why I hold Batman in such high regard, is because that was the first time I just went, this is what it does. This is why so many people not only get addicted to it, but also go because of their mental health.
Yeah.
My head was clear for the first time in God knows how long. And it progressed from there. And I did take I have tried with Gears of War was the next game that I played after Batman. And it is like sparked a love affair that's lasted since then. And I have tried online gaming through Gears of War. That didn't go down too well. I've done League of Legends. Again, that didn't go great.
Yeah.
I did League of Legends for a very long time. World of Warcraft. Now, World of Warcraft was different. That was me not understanding. I am not. I RPG games is not my thing. Like if it's not third person platform, gun, fighty, jumpy, like I get a bit lost. Hence the reason I bought Baldur's Gate 3 recently. Because I thought it's like a mixture.
Yeah.
And I'm still struggling with it.
I mean, I've tried an online game once, and it kind of like, I didn't expect much of it because I was already aware of some of the stories, because I tried the original Overwatch, and this is how far back it was for anybody who's watching. I played Overwatch before the space station level appeared. That's how long ago it was. It was like the original lineup before any new heroes were added or anything like that.
All right.
I played once. Somebody wrote on the screen that I couldn't shoot for shit, type of thing. And I just went, right, fair enough. And I started playing there was a section of the game that you could play where you played with other people, but you were against bots.
Right. Yeah, that's
so it was kind of like it was a bit more than the practice range, but it was kind of like just to
Yeah,
so
that's kind of what I did with League of Legends.
That's kind of where I hung out. I didn't play it for very long, but yeah. I mean, if anybody that's talked to me about computer games knows that I say I can't do guns. I can't shoot for shit. So the guy was right.
Yeah.
But that's not something you say to people.
No.
Not at all.
The fact that I can tell that to myself, you know what I mean?
I can say it to myself, no bother. But I was really trying.
Yeah.
But if you give me a bow and arrow, I'm Hawkeye.
Fucking hell, I'm not. I'm really not. I have a thing, I don't know if anyone else does, or it plays a huge part of my dyslexia. My brain is not wired the right way, and I have to change the settings every time I play a video game, because for me, if I'm looking up, I'm looking up. So my thumb's going up. If I'm looking down, I'm looking down. Ant's not like that. He gets so agitated when he comes and takes over my controller, because he's then now looking down constantly when he's trying to look up.
Yeah. I'm very similar. Obviously I've just got back into Star Trek Online. And I've had to change every single key command that it's possible so that it reflects how my brain works, because they were having like K was just a random movement, and I was like, well, K doesn't work for me. And they had like how you moved your spaceship around, it wasn't with your arrow buttons, it was with like a P and a Q, and I was like, well, that makes no sense.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
But I had a very positive experience around the fact that someone was like, well, just change the keys, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because I didn't realize that I didn't feel like I was allowed to do that. I had to play it the same way as everyone else.
No.
But yeah, I've changed the keys, and yeah, it works. It's not quite so hard for me.
I'm quite good on like I've played I think I learned that I was quite good when I played Resident Evil 5 with Jake on Twitch, the game that got lost. And I realized I'm quite good at my aim with this, because I don't have to think about I don't have to think about my thumbs and is my settings right for what I need. I don't use an aim assist. My husband would never speak to me. It's all I hear when he's playing Fortnite. Johnny, could you go fucking game assist on? Or give
Aim assist.
what's it called? But aim assist.
Yeah.
My God, I think but yeah, on my keyboard, I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
Like my aim is good. But when I'm playing with my controller, not. But I do love my controller. My favorite controller in the entire world was the 360 one.
Yep. I've even considered if there was a way to hook it up so I could use it for my PC, but I've been told it's very complicated, and I wouldn't be able to do it. So that's a challenge, and that might be my next task, is to try and see.
Who told you couldn't do it?
See, it's someone I actually do respect. Someone in the gaming world who is very patient with me. Very, very patient. And I'll go into who they are later on and how they're the person that I've actually got back into gaming because of. But yeah, they are actually someone 9 times out of 10 who gives good advice and things like that. So
Okay.
I did. When we got our PlayStation 5, we did have to buy new controllers. I don't know what was going on at the time with the PlayStation 5 controller, but everything was rearing to the left.
Yeah. There was a problem with a certain type of them, I believe, around when they first came out.
I was in lockdown. And then the Brexit thing with the components not being available, and so there was no controllers. So I remember the minute that Argos got their stock in, I was like, right, I'm ordering them all. So we've got a collection of PlayStation controllers, just in case.
I think that we got our PlayStation 5 on release day, thankfully.
You lucky.
I had like 20 tabs open.
Oh, right.
And it turns out the actual way I got it was because I didn't even sign in.
Oh.
I didn't even sign in. I just happened to and it said like new stock online in like 20 minutes. So I thought, oh good, I'll just wait there, and like, you know, somebody said it might be quicker if you do a checkout as guest. So I'll do that on this one, but I'll sign in on this one and try that way. But then I managed to put one of the bundles in my basket like 10 minutes before this went on sale.
Oh, that's cool.
And I just thought I'll try it. Went through, accepted my payment. I got the email confirmation and everything. And it was 10 minutes before they had actually dropped.
Nice.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was literally, I just thought I'll try on the off chance, at least put it in my basket so it's ready. Went straight through.
That's nice.
And I mean, our controllers are only just say going now, but I think that may might be due to a 4 and 5-year-old dropping it
I
several
mean,
times.
that would explain it. We got ours in lockdown. I think it was like it'd been a while since not a while, but it was. We were hoping it would die down, so when the next lot of stock come in, it wouldn't be so dramatic and everyone had to get one. I think he got it originally. He was going to get it through Very because they had
tons.
They had loads, and then something made him change his mind, and he went with somewhere else. But we got it because we got our security deposit back. We're like, oh, we don't need that then. So let's just buy a PlayStation 5. I think it was part of Ant's birthday present. I remember picking up his PlayStation 4. I was so excited to get that because I got that for his birthday, and this is just me all over. I decided at the end of work to put an order in at Argos at Seam to go and pick it up straight after work to then take it home and be like, surprise. It was a good surprise. Still got that as well. So we've got in the house the PlayStation 5 for his PC, my PC. We've got a Switch as well, which came in handy in lockdown because I got addicted to Animal Crossing. And it was literally a bandwagon jump. Like I saw everyone else playing it and I was like, well, I'm going to have this game. Like obviously. And it wasn't, you couldn't buy it physically. And Anth was like, we'll just get it digitally. It's like, you can do that? And he's like, yes, and you can have it right now. And I was like, so yeah, like everyone else, I got addicted to Animal Crossing. I'd hate to see what my island looks like now. I've so abandoned it.
I think you should do a video of you going back to all your abandoned projects. I think you should.
Oh my god, that dog will be so dead.
You need to. We need closure now.
I was a little bit obsessed with me what do you call it? DS? Yeah. There was Cooking Mama, Hell's Kitchen, America's Next Top Model. I played that. I was pretty obsessed with my DS. Hey, right. Have you had any bad experiences as a gamer?
Yes.
Oh, you go first. Go
on. My experiences, and it's actually why I stopped playing for a while, other than obviously I went to work abroad. But I just had so many bad experiences trying to play the Xbox, and obviously I was quite young. I was only 22, so I was quite young, and I wanted to be that gamer. I wanted to be the person that was good at gaming, and obviously I was still learning, and I just feel very much like the people that were gaming at the time just didn't have the patience to include me in anything, and it just kind of very much soured me because I was like, I want to be here, I want to be playing, but it was just so negative that it actually literally put me off until lockdown. So that was 12 years that I didn't really I didn't play online. I played obviously Xbox without being wired up. I played with the Wii console, but I didn't do anything as a group until I bought this laptop in lockdown, because I was like, no, it's just really, really put me off. And there wasn't just one incident, it was just a build up, and I was just like, I don't have the mental space for this. Like I really do not have it. But yeah, it was difficult, but it was, and I hate the fact that it was mostly men that were like that to me, because there was a lot of female gamers that were around at the time. They were really encouraging. They were like, oh yeah, you can come with us, you can do this. But it just became such a headache that I was having to pretend at one point to put on a sort of a more gruff voice so that I could pretend. And because I was eager, I wanted to be involved, and it just put me off. And it wasn't one game, it was just the whole community. But I find that now it's so much more encouraging. As I said, I've got back into playing Star Trek Online. I have no idea what I'm doing half the time.
Who cares?
but this is the thing, you know, like the people that I've been playing with, Paul and Chris, you know, they have been so encouraging. Like they've been advising like to change my keybinds. They've been, you know, they're like, oh, but you don't need to play every day, you know, you can just come along when you want to. And yeah, so it's been nice. And then it's kind of got me into wanting to play more games, so that I've now got like an Xbox pass. So I've been playing other games, and there's lots of little free games that I get via Prime, and that's just kind of getting me back into the thing. But yeah, I haven't had any negative experiences recently. Thankfully, they're all in the past. But yes, it did put me off for a very, very long time, to the point that I don't have a new console. Like the oldest, the newest console I've got is the Wii console and the 360, and they're both because I worked for Asda. I got the games via Amazon. I worked for Asda at the time when the Wii console was released. You know, I was a music and games and video colleague at that time, and I can remember the queues, and I was like, I've jumped on that bandwagon. But I wouldn't probably have had that game if it hadn't been like the console, if it hadn't been for that.
Yeah.
But yes, so I have had negative experiences, but recently it's been much more positive, which is nice. And
that's lovely.
I'm happy to get back into gaming, and you know, and we've got people like Chris in the Nerdy Up North community who's been encouraging.
Oh, Chris.
Yes, he's not the other Chris. There's two Chris's. I'll call one Dulac, who's from Obsidian Fleet, which obviously with Star Trek Online kind of fits. But our Chris, you know, he's been encouraging me. He's like, oh well, you can play this. He's like, I've got an Xbox, I think. He's like, he's got an Xbox pass. So I think we're gonna try and see if we can.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
You know, the men that are around Nerdy Up North, you know, they are just amazing people that are encouraging, and they don't want people to be left out. So it's good.
Yeah,
what about you?
If they did, they'd be kicked out. It's as simple as that.
Yes. What about yourself?
We have the power.
We do. Go on, Sarah. Do you have any?
Not really, if I'm honest. But then I've never really been a big online gamer. Apart from that, like one time I thought I'll try it out. If I've played kind of like community games, it's been in a locked forum for just those people that I know. And
that's a safe bet.
Yeah, so it's kind of like being with the nun community, with a few of my gaming friends from like their streaming community, things like that. So it's just things like Among Us or Fall Guys and things that I've really played online. I think just with like the knowledge of, well, I'm saying the stories that I've heard of like how some women have been treated, I just kind of like naturally avoided it. I'm very much an RPG player.
Yeah.
I
was.
I play my Skyrim, I play my Oblivion, I play my Dragon Age, my Mass Effect, my Witcher. And I just get lost in those worlds, really. I'm a story and a lore sucker. I don't even play them to like, I don't necessarily play them for difficulty either. I play them on normal or easy because I like the story.
Yeah.
And then once I've completed the story, if it's got a new game plus, I'll consider going up a difficulty. And I mean, for example, the only game I've ever platinumed on the PlayStation is Dragon Age Inquisition. And you have to play it on the hardest nightmare difficulty to get that.
Yeah.
So I have done it.
I
just don't often do it.
Yeah. All my settings are easy. I never go on hard.
I mean, I've actually got quite a positive experience. I did do one Twitch stream when I was playing Resident Evil 4. I was watching something on Twitch, and they were doing a raffle to win a copy of the game, and I said, you know what, if I win, I'll stream it. But then like other people were winning, but we're all like, well, I've already got the game, redraw it. I've already got the game, redraw it. And in the end, it just came to me naturally.
Yeah.
It's a great game. It's one of my
ended
favorites.
up with it anyway. And I'd seen my friend used to speedrun it. I'd seen him do it loads and I thought, oh, this is going to be fine. I'll be able to do this, no bother. Not thinking, of course, speedrunning it is a lot different to actually just playing the game.
Yeah.
And as I said before, I'm useless with guns. Ammo was a big issue for me.
Yeah.
But I stuck to my promise and I did a stream of it on Twitch. And to me, pardon the term, but that took a lot of balls for me to do that.
Absolutely.
I did it mainly for one person in particular who said, I want to see you do this. But, you know, I had one or two strangers come into the chat and, you know, they were judging from the names. I'm not going to judge any genders or anything like that, but, you know, somebody comes in at the chat with the name John or Scott, you're going to expect them to be male.
Yeah.
So if they told me otherwise, I would have gone otherwise. But
yeah, of course.
They were perfectly pleasant, you know, about it. I said, you know, it's my first ever playthrough. I don't play horror games. I'm doing it on easy, but if I do complete it, I'll do it again on harder. And you know, I said I hate guns, and he was perfectly fine with that. He said, "Well, we've all got to learn somewhere, haven't we?"
Yep,
Which is the attitude that I like to have.
Yes.
You know, how on earth are you going to learn if you don't play it?
Precisely, and that's what frustrates me so much about my experiences is I wasn't allowed that opportunity. There was no one positive that wanted to do that, you know.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. But yes, unfortunately, I didn't finish the game.
Oh, like
like what I would prefer, and now some people don't like this as an option, but I think it would be a good option for somebody who's trying to learn the game. A lot of the experts for Resident Evil games like to play it on as hard as they possibly can. You know, you get one bullet per level type of thing.
Yep.
I can't do it. What I would have liked to have done to let me enjoy it a bit more would have the easy version as being there's a shit ton of ammo everywhere.
Yeah.
And then as you get harder, reduce the ammo.
Yeah.
I think because this was the original one, not the remake. I think when the original one was made, having it as easy is not equal to the easy that we've got these days.
Right.
I think they've started it on kind of like a hard level of easy and then done very hard after that. Because there's only two difficulties you could have it on back then. So
mine's super duper easy.
Whereas there's 6 now if you open an RPG.
Oh, I got annoyed with the village. Like really annoyed. I couldn't figure out my controls. I couldn't get what do you call it? Where you revert everything. I couldn't do it. And I was just getting really, really annoyed with it to the point where I was like, I don't play this. I don't want to play this no more. I'm not going to play this no more. And it'll come to a point where later on in the year I'll go, I really should pick that back up again. Yeah. I've heard so many good things and I'm not even out like the front, like the start of it. And I'm like, it was just getting on my nerves. So I went and bought Red Dead Redemption 2.
I didn't get much further than you, Sammie, but I got a little bit further. I managed to get rescue Ashley.
Oh right, okay, no, I did not get there.
Ashley is the reason that I did not complete that game. Because you come back through the village at a later point with Ashley.
Yep.
And you've got to try and protect her whilst getting through the village.
It's hard.
She just kept running straight into the middle of all the villagers.
Yeah.
She just chose one of the chainsaw guys and ran towards him every single time. And I thought, I can't do this.
I just could not get past this one bit. And it was so easy that it was frustrating the life out of us. And I was like, right, I'm done. I'm not playing this no more. I'll go and get an even harder game to play. So I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at the minute. But I'm going to have to move it from the living room back into the bedroom. I have really sensitive eyes. And I can't deal with things. Like Anthony, if he's playing anything, like if Fortnite, for example, he's all over the place. Day to day, his hands are everywhere. The mouse is going everywhere. His player is going everywhere. And my eyes just go into overdrive to the point where I'm like, right, I get motion sickness. And I'm like,
I do.
Oh,
Yeah. So
no. Gonna have to go and put me head between my knees now, and because I'm gonna throw up. So playing it on the big telly, I've played Final Fantasy, the newest one on there. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. On a 75-inch television, it looks spectacular. But me trying to play something on this 75-inch telly, I'm like, no, I'm gonna have to go and move it back into the bedroom if I want to continue playing, because it's too much. It's far too much. I've had a few experiences. Gears of War was the first online game I played, Gears of War 2, and that lobby was horrific. Horrific. The minute they heard my voice, that was it. I was so excited as well at just getting my first Christ, I've got headsets coming out of God knows where. Like there's 3 at my feet, but this was my first ever headset. This was a turtle, what's it called? Oh, what's it called, man? Turtle Beach, Turtle Wear, Turtle Bay, Turtle something. It was I can't remember what it was called, but I remember picking it up from Asda. It was my first headset with a mic and everything, and I was so excited to be playing online, because like at the time I was playing video games myself, I was watching people and watching the starting point of Twitch, for me anyway, and YouTube, all these women in, nerd culture who were playing video games. And I was like, oh my God, I want to be a part of this so badly. And it just, no, it didn't go down too well. I got a lot, to be honest, I've had a lot of abuse in my, since doing, playing games online, or just being a part of YouTube, as, with no male counterpart. Don't get us wrong, since I've done Nerdy Up North, I've had no issues, but Jesus Christ, before I've upset a lot of nerds. And do they like to tell me? Because they do. But yeah, I was very instantly turned off from it. But it didn't stop us going into League of Legends. Now, that one, I was actually scared to talk. And it's because I understand how huge League of Legends is. Like, I've watched tournaments and stuff like that, and it is a huge e-sport. And I didn't dare talk, because I thought, Jesus Christ, if I fuck this up, like, I don't want to fuck this up. I want to be able, do you know what I mean? I want to be able to play it properly. So I don't want to say it. So I never spoke. So nobody ever heard my voice. So nobody was ever directing anything to us. So I was fortunate for that, but that was sheer out of fear.
That's the same thing that I was scared of.
Yeah, I didn't want to, because I wanted to play this and I wanted to be good at it. So I didn't want to hear any negative stuff coming towards us. I'd already heard that when I attempted to do it the last time. And it actually gets us to go on the Fortnite lobby and talk. So we can listen to all the kids just kicking off. Because now, I find it almost hilarious the way that some people go on. Because who the fuck do you think you are? But at the same time, it's like 20% of us is going, fuck me, these men are just ridiculous, bloody crybaby men. But then there's the other side of us, it's like, it's so infuriating. I watch a lot of women who do Twitch also put their stuff onto TikTok. One of them in particular is a Twitcher TikToker called Steffi Evans. Call of Duty. Fucking amazing. Holy shit, this girl has got some skill. But oh my God, does she get so much abuse? So much abuse. But the best part about Steffi is her comebacks are the greatest. The absolute greatest. She knows how to... It's almost like she can gauge it by just saying, GG, guys. The minute she says that, she knows exactly who she's got in our lobby. She knows exactly what. And the main thing that they come out with is, make me a sandwich. Get back in the kitchen and make me a sandwich. Have we not evolved in the way that we speak to people? Is that the best that they can come up with?
Clearly.
Like, you don't want a sandwich from me. Ask my husband. I don't make good sandwiches, just like I don't make good cups of tea. You don't want them. But what I learned today when I took Steffi's name down because I wanted to make sure that I mentioned her. She is actually the CEO and COO of a charity organization called Right to Unmute. And they're combating misogyny, racism, bigotry, harassment on online gaming. It is a full charity organization, isn't it? And I've been reading about.
Yeah.
I've been reading about them today. Please go and follow them. They're called Right to Unmute.
I'll put them in the show notes.
Put them in the show notes.
Apps, perfect.
Yeah.
And it was just, I was like, oh wow, it's not just run by women, it's run by men who clearly want, because honestly, the line of abuse that Steffi gets it. Another one, Jenna Zimmerman, Jay-Z, who, oh my God, that girl she's beautiful. She's fucking stunning. She barely says a word. Everything comes from her gameplay.
Yeah.
But when she does, the level of toxic behavior is just, and they can't handle the fact that she's actually better than them.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That is a lot of the problems. People can't handle that women are better than them because they've been brought up to believe that they're the best, and they've never had that kind of person come up against them. And it's I find a lot of it nowadays, it's sad. Like, I look at them and I just think you need to, you know, your outside view of the world is just, it's twisted and it's not.
It's pathetic. Yeah. It's what it is. It's absolutely pathetic.
You can't blame the woman for the bad gameplay.
Yeah,
you've got to be jealous of her and insult her that way and stuff.
Exactly. It's
can't just happy.
Oh yeah, it can't be like, oh, well done.
Yeah,
well done. You played a good game. I was, when I first started getting back into gaming in like the 2014 era, I was watching a lot. This was the movement of boob streamers.
Oh.
And they were rampant on Twitch. Now, for me, as a woman, I could not give two shits if their chest was hanging out. I really couldn't. These girls were playing games. They were just using their assets to get viewers in. If that's what a man wants to look at while she's playing a game, that's on them. That's not on her.
No.
That's in my opinion anyway. You can completely disagree with it. But these girls were playing video games. They were just had a little bit of cleavage hanging out. And to be honest, I was a bit jealous. I was like, I don't have that.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest, Sammie. It's going to be like, if they had nothing on show, somebody in the chat would end up saying, show us your boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can guarantee it.
Exactly. And the culture of fake gamer girl, which, infuriates me because it doesn't just, it goes hand in hand with fake nerd girl as well. And that really, really fucking infuriates us because it's like, no. No. I'm trying to keep my calm. I've picked up my octopus. That side of communities really enrages me, and probably more than gatekeeping can is when someone gets called fake for comic books is probably the best one. Example I've got is, well, you've only read one comic book. You're not a comic book fan. You are. Whether you've read half a page or what, if you've picked that comic book up and you've shown some interest in it, you're a fan.
Yeah.
You're part of you can be part of the fandom. There's nothing stopping you.
Similar things in music. You go out wearing, like, I don't know, a Nirvana t-shirt. Somebody says, well, name me 3 songs by them.
I'd love someone to do that to me. I would.
Well, if you can't do that, you're not a fan.
I would love someone, like, music was like everything to me growing up. So I would love someone to do that to me, and I'd be like, come on, the motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like someone actually did it at work. I had a Metallica t-shirt on, and they didn't say, well, name us 4 songs and you can prove you're a Metallica fan. They were like, oh, God, you probably haven't even seen them. I was like, 4 times, dude. 4 times.
Yeah.
Fuck you. I hate shit like that. Hate it. I'll put my octopus down. I'll get off me high horse. But I was the whole fake gamer girl thing that really, really fucks me off more than anything. The way that these people go on, and I don't want to just sit there and say it's Call of Duty, because it's probably, but that's the one that I see more than any other, is the Call of Duty lobbies. They are horrible individuals.
Mhm.
Would they fucking dare speak to their mothers like that?
Not at all. Mhm.
Don't like it.
You see, I actually doubted as to whether I could call myself a gamer for a long time. Gamer girl. I just say gamer. I don't even add the girl on the end.
I do. Just out of
Just to spite.
fuck
just
you.
To,
I always do.
but
Nerd
I
girl,
did-
gamer girl, goes on.
I started to kind of adopt it a bit more recently.
Good.
Again, I've got another positive example there. I mod a few Twitch channels, including Nerdy Up North. We've got a Twitch channel.
We do. I've been on it several times.
I'm on a few of them, and they are mostly run by like male friends of mine who play games online. One of them is actually my DM for Pathfinder, and a little while ago he was playing Skyrim, and he wanted to platinum it, and as much as I thought of him as being very knowledgeable about video games in general, he kept asking me questions because he knew that I'd played the shit out of Skyrim. Honestly, I am the one that will try and 100% it every single time I play.
I love that.
And he kept asking my opinion on good quests to do, or where I might find a certain item, or you know what? It felt kind of good to be the fountain of knowledge for a video game for somebody that I thought was knowledgeable on video games.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like from then that I was thinking, yeah, I am a gamer. It doesn't matter if you're a gamer for 50 games or if you just like to play the same 2 or 3 over and over. You're a gamer, like you said for the comic books.
Yeah. I always try to find time to play because, like I say, it just gives us a bit of a head clear out. I have 2 ways of doing my head clear out. One is play video games, and the other one is go and sit in my car and listen to Slipknot's first album. It may sound ridiculous, but that's how my head gets a good clear out. But video games is a massive one. I can't relive that. I wish I could relive that moment of the first time I just went, oh, get it. I totally get it. I infuriate Ant as a gamer though. I'm a multitasker. So I can have a video game on in front of me, but I could also have my laptop next to me and have something on at the same time. But I can do that in reading as well. When I'm reading, I've got to have, and it'll usually be The Big Bang Theory because I've seen it like a million times. It's like familiar. So I infuriate Ant. So I don't do it when I play new games. Because then he'd be like, well, you're not taking it serious. Because if you're watching that, you're not watching that. So I don't do it on new games, but something say I wanted it like my go-to, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. One of my favorite games of all time. I remember picking that up for the 360 and being, I think I was a year out of release, and I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. This is just this is what I want to play, is games like this. This is what I love. I can't do first person. I don't know about you guys. I can't do it. Makes me sick. I hate being first person, so I love third person. And it was platform, it was running, it was shooting, it was jumping at ridiculous heights that's unrealistic. There's no way a normal human person could do that. But I totally fell madly in love with Lara Croft in that very moment. And I felt like I was the only person who was because at the time I had there was no Nerdy Up North. I had no one to go and relate this to. I was a nobody on Instagram. Like, I'm still a nobody now, but I was posting pictures and getting no response from it. So I was like, oh, I'm on my own here. And I was totally fine with it because I had Lara.
So you needed
Lara and Marcus from Gears of War became my greatest friends in 2014. I love them. And Gears of War 3 absolutely broke me as a human being. When Dom died. Spoilers!
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert! I mean, it was fucking years ago. But yeah, that absolutely broke us. kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, sorry. I just have all these like little memories just like creeping back up of like, because it did kind of like take over my life for a bit. And then other commitments came into play and Nerdy Up North became my thing. But I was a writer at the same time as well. Like I was writing for 2 websites. So that it was like a mixture of writing and gaming, and I love that period. I always try to like recapture that period of time, but then the writing's turned into podcasting and it's a totally different like thing.
Yeah. It's a different vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we get into characters? Because I did kind of like go into Malara there.
Do you want to go back there? It's been a...
Yeah. So when I think of my gaming experience, I think of 3 very specific characters in very different games. So I think of Sonya from Mortal Kombat. It's not someone that thinking back, I would have ever looked up to or felt that she was my character. But in the game, obviously, she's a badass, and I probably played Mortal Kombat when I was far too young, as most of us probably have. But I can just remember thinking, oh, she's not a character that fits the vibe of Mortal Kombat. She's very different from the other characters there.
Yeah.
And I just very much enjoyed playing that character. And then I've got another character that kind of I just absolutely love, and that's Big Daddy from BioShock. I was obsessed with this game. Utterly obsessed. It is a game that I'm probably going to have to get on the PC to replay because I love the vibe so much. I love that this character was just badass. I think this is probably why I've liked all these different characters, because they are very much badass characters.
Yeah.
And I love the concept of Big Daddy, that he's like a robot and he's there to protect the little sisters in the game. And he just pops out of nowhere. And I love the fact that it wasn't a person for BioShock's advertisement. It was this character, and I've just became obsessed with it. It's a problem to the point that I still look around for like BioShock merchandise that has this thing on, because I just loved it. And then the last one I've got, which will probably become no surprise, is a character from Resident Evil, because Resident Evil 4 took over my life for a very, very long time. But I actually played it on the Wii console. I never played it on the PC or console.
Wow.
I can remember my poor parents, like, why they put up with me, I really don't know sometimes. The Wii console, you kind of use the nunchucks and the things, and you're basically the person and you're having to fight the zombies and stuff. But I can remember, it's cool. It's a totally different experience. It's brilliant. I had this coffee table in the living room, and I can remember jumping up onto this sort of coffee table and obviously doing that. I was only about 18. I thought it was cool. But there's a character in these games called Lady Demetrius.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with this character to the point that I actually have a cosplay for this character that I want to do.
You need to make this happen.
Yes, but SunnyCon was too hot, and
you could not do that.
I'm just not doing that at SunnyCon. But I actually have the hat, I have the pearls, I have the dress. I just absolutely love this character, and I know she's a bad guy, but sometimes the bad guys deserve a bit of love. And I just love the whole backstory of her, and yeah, so she's become a slight obsession to me that obviously I've now got a cosplay of her.
That's amazing. We need to make this happen, even if it's not for a convention. Let's just do a goddamn photo shoot with your cosplay.
You do yours, I'll do mine, because I've got one that I've had my eye on for a few
And
years.
I will take the pictures because I don't do dress up.
We all know I like a dress up.
Yes,
Oh,
no,
I wish I did. I wish I did. I can't do it.
No, I do. I believe in very much like if you, no matter what your body size, you should be allowed to be in cosplay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, but that's my experience. Those are my 3 characters that I'm obsessed with. That to this day, that I will very much buy the merchandise or dress up as and speak about if I get the opportunity. So,
there is a couple who go to conventions dressed as Big Daddy and Little Sister.
I haven't seen them, but I've heard of them.
I've met them a couple of times working conventions, but the last one I saw them at was when I worked Liverpool Comic Con, and they just came walking past us and like, oh my god, I see you. And these, like, I've seen them at Northeast one, so I'm like, that's so cool. But the detail in Big Daddy is ridiculous.
I just love the character and the fact that Bioshock is just an amazing game.
I tried with that, and
but it's a horror game. I quite like horror games. I quite like being scared. Obviously, like,
you think I would?
Well, you would, yes. You know, mistress of horror. But it is very different when you are playing a game. Because you're the one controlling the actions.
I have played Resident Evil for a very short period of time on the VR. Never again. Yes. Won't be doing that again. Anth actually has a MetaQuest 3.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No.
Well, what we've played has been fun, but I can't do. It's because my eyes. I just can't take everything in.
It's the same reason why I can't do VR.
I can only be on for. I think when he'd gotten it, I was recording a Sunday episode of the podcast, and when I came out, he's just sat there with this huge headset on and just pew-pewing everywhere. So he gave me a go, and I was in my hallway, but there was this little machine came right in front of us and started spewing these balls out, and I just had to shoot the balls. But as I was shooting, my wall was disappearing, and behind my wall was this galaxy, and behind I was shooting my whole hallway out to where this whole universe was behind it, and I'm like, I don't like this. I
can imagine it.
I'm too scared. He put one on where I wasn't even moving. I was just standing in places, and one of them was a library, this most beautiful library, and then you could hear dum, 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 and it wasn't a library, it was a museum, and it was a fucking T-Rex coming running after us while that thing just came straight off and chucked at him. I was like, nope. I had recurring nightmares as a kid with the T-Rex chasing me. No, thank you. I don't do very well with VR headsets either.
The VR is unfortunately out of my range of playing as well, because I just immediately get travel sickness.
Yeah. That
immediately.
I was really scared. That's just me. It's just I think for travel sickness, I'm really scared.
I've never put scary games on it.
Oh, God.
I did escape room simulator and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh my God, I cannot even stand with this.
Oh, we had my friend Emma, who was out with us on Saturday. She came over and was playing it to the point where she now has her own, because she absolutely loves. The best thing about it is, especially in our living room, we have objects that could fall down if you walk into them. The MetaQuest stops you from doing that. It examines your room before you start playing, and it tells you if you're gonna walk into something. So we've got a bookshelf that's got a mirror on it. It's not attached. It just sits on top of it, and watching Anth walk up to it, and I'm like, oh my God. So I start to move towards it, but he then turns on the side and starts going across it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, my MetaQuest is telling us there's something there and that I need to not touch here. And I'm like,
that's really cool. But that's always been my fear, that I'll walk into something. That's
you can't with MetaQuest.
Yeah. my partner has hit the cat before.
Well, that is, I think, unavoidable. I'm looking at my cats because they would totally get in the way. I think that can be quite but anything else object wise, it stops you. I've actually watched an episode of the podcast on the MetaQuest.
On it.
Yeah. Lay down on the ceiling and just watched. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. How is Sarah? Who's your love and characters?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna say it straight. I do like Final Fantasy. I've just not played a lot of them.
Right.
I've seen most of them be played, but I've only actually played myself. I've played 4 on my DS. I've played 9, and I've played a bit of 10 and most of 12. And 9 is the one that I've spent the most time on, and it's the one that I would class as my favorite. A lot of people say 7, but 9 is my favorite. And I just really, I don't even know why, but I just kind of connected with this little black mage character running across the screen called Vivi. And that is who I want to cosplay as.
Oh,
That's adorable.
We need to make this happen.
I was speaking to Graham about it the other week, Science Officer Sign Noise, and he said, you know what, you'd be perfect for that.
I love the fact
because
that you can
he's
see
currently
his
playing
name.
Final Fantasy 9 on his Twitch channel.
Oh.
But yes, it's just kind of like, for such a he like finds out that he wasn't born in the traditional way, and a lot of the enemies that they fight in this Final Fantasy are like called the Black Waltz, which are just kind of like taller versions of basically him, black mages.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of like wondering, like, oh, do I feel? Do I love? Do I, all the big life questions. And he deals with all of this whilst going through the game and stuff like that. And I thought, you know what? For such a little character to have such big questions, I just thought it was very sweet of him. And yeah, I just kind of went, you know what? I think that would be a really good cosplay to do, and I'd like to do that someday.
We are going to make this happen.
It's going to take a lot of work. There's a lot of sewing I'm going to need to do for that. But anyway, that's by the by. I can too. Barely, but yes, I can.
I could, yeah. Don't ask us to put a button on a shirt, but I can sew.
Yeah, but the other characters are from other RPGs. It's games where you play as the protagonist, and you can be either male or female characters. Now, I've always played as female characters.
I do. I never play as male if I've got a choice. I'm
going to put this bluntly. My partner always says, if I'm going to stare at an arse for 100 hours, I'd rather it be a woman's arse.
Hey, at least he's honest.
Yeah. He often plays in them as well. But yeah. Anyway, my first one is Mass Effect.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. I always play FemShep. Always. It just feels good to, like, girl power, saving the galaxy. It's how it's meant to be, really, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
She's tough. She takes no crap. She isn't put off when higher ups say no, especially when she's got like circumstantial evidence and has a heck of a gut feeling.
Yeah.
She's persistent, and it pays off. And yeah, this is just like my experience. Like I said, you can do that as a male character as well. I liked seeing a woman become the first human Spectre, which is like one of the highest military ranks you can get. Especially with like the relationships that the humans have with other alien species at the time that Mass Effect set.
It's empowering is what it is.
Yeah, she's the one to lead the charge against an enemy that will wipe out all life in the galaxy.
Fuck yeah.
And of course, big up to the voice actor who brought her to life, Jennifer Hale. You knew I was going to bring her. You knew I was going to bring Jennifer Hale into this, Sammie.
Tell people, the masses, if they don't know who Jennifer Hale is. Well,
first and foremost, she is the voice of FemShep. She is a well-known voice actor in so many things. She's even in the newer X-Men 97 series. It was Jean Grey she played, wasn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't she the original as well, or is she
I'm not
replaced?
sure. She might have been, but I'm not sure. I'll admit that.
I should know. I did a whole bloody review on it.
I just think she's the perfect choice. She's like got perfect delivery. She is another woman who she kicks ass in real life. You know, if you follow her on her socials, she stands up for things. She says what she's supporting. You know, she's not afraid to say don't support this. She enjoys life. She's got like animals and stuff like that, and she's always posting things about that. And she even teaches classes and like voice acting workshops and things like that now as well.
That's cool.
So cool.
You can be taught by FemShep.
That's amazing.
It's one game I struggled. I tried to play it because it's a huge part of Ant's life as well, and tried to play it, and I was like, no, this is not. I realize at some point, and I have to realize at some point that I'm never going to get RPG games. My concentration levels can't, and making decisions as well. Didn't realize how hard it would be to make a decision, because I'm like, well, what if I don't want to go down this path now? Well, what happens if I want to go down it later? I can't change my mind. Like, I struggle with this. I've tried so hard to play the evil route on Mass Effect so many times, but I can't. I'm too nice. I like people to like me. You just end up winding back into being nice.
I'm the same with Bioshock. I can't do the unkind route.
Always Paragon, but you always punch the reporter. And Mass Effect fans will know exactly what I mean when I say that.
I love that.
But yeah, but that's one of mine. The other one, if you see me in the Discord, we have a gaming section. If you see me in the Discord, you'll have known recently, especially with recent announcements, that I have been quite excited about a certain game that's coming out before the end of the year. And it's the next Dragon Age.
I didn't know that either. I was a bit confused.
And you can see we've got
Makes sense.
Alistair here. We've got Inquisition up there. I have a plaque on my wall up here of Dorian. I've got the books. I've got the graphic novels.
So you would say you're a fan?
I'm a bit of a fan.
Just a bit.
Bit of a fan about this. But the one character in particular that I absolutely love from it is Flemeth.
Flemeth?
Yes,
That's
Flemeth.
a name.
Now, she doesn't look like much in the first game, in Origins. She is portrayed as an old woman, but she's an old Witch of the Wilds. She's very old. And now the Witch of the Wilds is almost legendary within the game world itself. She's very powerful. And she's just kind of like, she's just trying to get by, basically, when you go to meet her, or rather, get by. She doesn't want any trouble with you. She's quite happy for you to just go about your business as long as you leave her alone.
Yeah.
Now, she realizes that there are things that can't be controlled, and you know, to skip over bits of the story, she ends up turning into a dragon and saving your character.
Oh yes.
Yes.
She turns into a dragon
from a massive battle, and you and the other character that she saves end up being the last of the Grey Wardens. And you have to bring you're the two that have to save the world, type of thing. You do get other companions, by the way, but it's Flemeth really that's kind of directing the whole thing. But yes, when you get
awesome name.
When you get to the second game, she is portrayed vastly different. She's not the frail old woman anymore. This is the character that I asked Paul to put in somewhere around us.
Oh right. That makes sense now.
Yeah, you see, I want to show you her.
I really thought that was someone from like Baldur's Gate.
No. That's I think the image I showed you was from Dragon Age Inquisition.
Such a good image.
Yeah, but she was in the second one as well. She's going from the little old woman to this character. You know, she's standing very tall, very proud, straight back. She's in dark red studded leather with feathers coming off her shoulders. She's got white hair coming up and kind of like curling up round to the back of her head into like almost horns.
What I would give for that style of white hair.
Yeah. And I think she's got like one of the most iconic speeches in gaming, to be honest.
You know it?
But this is going off me. I've got it wrote down. I don't quite know it off by heart. I know half of it by heart. So in this scene, she's talking to the protagonist who you're playing, and she's saying, "We stand upon the precipice of change. The world fears the inevitable plummet into the abyss. Watch for that moment, and when it comes, do not hesitate to leap. It is only when you fall that you learn whether you can fly." And
I
you know,
love
That's a speech.
I
That's
think
a speech.
that is, considering the fact that you've got a very turbulent relationship with Flemeth. You're not sure whether she's a good guy. You're not sure whether she's a bad guy. She does like random things to progress the story, kind of thing. It's one of my favorite quotes in general, really, because I mean the last line especially. It's kind of like good to keep it in the back of your mind in everyday life. It's like, I
Yeah.
take it as a don't be afraid to fall, or
I
don't be
need you to-
afraid to fail.
I need you to put that somewhere. I need to be able to see it.
Yeah. Don't
That
be
is
afraid to
amazing.
fall or fail. You might overcome it and fly, and that's great. But even if you do fall, you can learn from it and still leap
Yeah.
next time, and then you might fly. That's kind of what I take from it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's taking everything in me not to cry.
Yeah.
And
And of
no,
course-
it's so sweet.
And of course, she's voiced by Kate Mulgrew. Which
Oh my god,
Janeway.
Janeway,
She's voiced by Janeway.
I did a Trek reference.
Yes.
I'm proud
yes.
of you.
Thank you.
It's one of those roles that I can't imagine anybody else doing now. It's definitely Kate's role.
Oh, and I can imagine it now. I can fully see it in my head.
Now
Just-
imagine her voice saying that
Yeah.
little paragraph there.
See, I know her as Red from Orange is the New Black, but
Yeah.
to Anth, she's the captain of all captains.
Oh yeah.
Like no one comes close to her.
Yeah.
So I love that. Oh my god, I need to be able to visualize. I need to be able to see that. That is such a quote. That is like something I need to read to myself every morning.
It's such a famous quote among the Dragon Age fans.
Oh, that is so cool. I love that. Go on. Did you have any more?
No.
Was
I
that
don't want to go in.
it?
I don't want to go in too far into like. I could talk about Flemeth for a lot longer, but I'm not going to go too far into it in case anybody does still want to play it before the new game comes
right.
out.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's
there are things that
understandable.
happen in the third one that I don't want to spoil.
Yeah. I mean, I've already told you mine, which was, my Lara Croft, Marcus from Gears of War, Nathan Drake, because, come on, it's Nathan Drake. I don't have any other kind of attachments. Lara's probably the biggest attachment that I have. Other than that, I mean, Paul was right. When it comes down to my gaming choices, it's either Uncharted, Tomb Raider, Batman, Gears of War. That's it. Like that's my staple. That's where I am, and that's where I love to be, and where I want to stay. I don't ever want to leave.
You really could come under that that meme quote thing of be yourself. Unless you can be Batman, then always be Batman.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I am Batman. When I
Yeah.
told you that.
Yeah.
I mean, Anth will argue that I'm not.
We won't listen to him.
No.
Good. Don't. I do try and play it. Me and him do try and play it together. And we tried. The last time we tried was in lockdown. We got on the PlayStation. The Xbox Pass you get. The PlayStation have their own on the PlayStation Store, and we got for free Call of Duty Zombies. We tried to play that together.
Oh.
Shit. Holy shit. I have never seen the level of patience he had. It took everything in him not to throw the controller at me or to walk. He was like trying not to lose his temper because we were trying to play it together. I was so bad at that game.
But it's such a hard game.
It was so hard. And he was like, I'm carrying you here. And I was like, well, yeah. But the level of patience in him was ridiculous. Because I refused to play video games with him anymore after Ant's obsessed with Street Fighter. He goes on ridiculous. So I'm
I
don't
like
wanna
Street
play.
Fighter.
Yeah, I don't want to play when he's uber competitive. Because I don't care if I lose. And I don't care that I'm button bashing and you know how to actually do all the moves.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I wasn't so much a Street Fighter girl as a Soul Calibur girl.
Oh.
I used to play that side of things.
Oh, I never played any of them. Like even Mortal Kombat, Tekken, or
Mm.
anything like that. It was not my thing.
See, I used to spend quite a lot of time on holiday parks. And obviously they have massive arcades. So I used to be that person. I used to be that person at those games, you know.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of grew up. So
I was the one at the 2p machine, just
I was there
dropping
too.
it in and
Yeah, no,
waiting.
it's still one of my favorite games.
Love a 2p machine.
Oh, the horse one. Can you remember the horse race one?
Yes.
I love that one.
They've still got that one in
Shut up.
down the seafront, yeah.
Oh,
Still got
wow, it
one.
was like on the wall. I love that. Gaming can be an incredibly toxic place for females. Even for males, I don't think that it's kind of like it has a gender directly towards it, but us girls, we do get a lot of shit. We are so fortunate within the Nerdy Up North community. We don't get to see that.
Yeah.
We are, I don't want to say protected. We are just with people who are happy we are here.
Yeah.
Incredibly happy. One of them being the Twitch leader himself, Jake. And I asked Jake to put together a statement on how he feels, because I didn't want to put... Jake is such a huge supporter of not just women, but everyone. And he wants everyone to be involved. He doesn't see that divide. That's not a thing to him. And I didn't want to bring him up and put words in his mouth. So I asked him to give us a statement of how he feels about women in the gaming community. So you ready? I'm not going to do any impression of Jake because I'm not going to do that to him. But it says, hello, women of nerd culture. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to write this. It's a big honor. So as someone who is never really aligned with the typical male gaze, I find the boys' club of gaming that started around the late 90s and went crazy in the 2000s incredibly off-putting. The fact that people are still stuck in that mindset to this day is massively disappointing. Women have been involved in making, marketing, and writing about games ever since it started. Everyone's favourite Street Fighter 2 music wouldn't exist without the amazing composer Yoko Shimomura. I hope I've said that right. Some of my favourite games, writers, content creators at the moment are I'm so sorry if I butcher any names that he says here. Dia Lucina, Jeter Jackson, Renita Price, and fellow Northerner Lucy James. Their viewpoints are incredibly important and refreshing to hear because let's face it, we've all heard way too much about the guys. Sorry, we've all heard way too much about what the guy thinks in this day and age. Gaming will always be better when people of different viewpoints, cultures, sexualities, and genders can join together to make something the whole world can enjoy. So don't let the boys dominate the conversation. Call out sexism, gatekeeping, and bigotry when you see it. And to paraphrase one of my favourite podcasters, let's keep the toxicity out of gaming. Love you all and have a great podcast.
Oh, Jake, man.
We love you, Jake.
Isn't that absolutely beautiful?
He is the world's biggest cheerleader, and I love him for that. You know, I appreciate everything he does.
He is such a beacon of positivity, and I know, like I've twitched with Jake before, and it was so much fun. Like to the point where there's times I just didn't want to leave. Like I've had so much fun playing with him because there's no conversation there about you shouldn't be here. You don't belong here. It would never even come into his mind. So when I was thinking of the positivity and the positive side of gaming, he is always at the forefront of my mind. And that's nothing to take any away from like Adam and Michael and Paul who do Twitch and stuff like that. It's just, he's such this beacon of light that if I was going to bring Jake up in the conversation, I didn't want it to be me putting words in his mouth. I wanted it to come directly from him and how he felt about women within the community, because there is a place for us. We are here. There 50% of gamers is women. We are here. You cannot get it. This is not a boys' club anymore. And it probably never has been. I shouldn't say anymore. We were always here. You just weren't looking hard enough. So I thought that was lovely to like end and wrap things up with our very own Jake giving words of encouragement to anyone who needs to hear it. You do have a place. There's a place within the Nerdy Up North community. We have an amazing Discord. We have an amazing Twitch. We have an amazing YouTube. We are available for you to listen to anywhere you get your podcast from. Look at this. I'm just getting them in there.
Hello.
So yeah. I'm all out.
I've got just a quick note there. We are going to possibly look at women on Twitch in a later episode.
Absolutely.
I think, well, we all think that is something that is too big to even consider looking at fully here. So we're gonna that'll be in the future. We don't know when yet.
Somewhere over there.
Somewhere in there. And next month we are going to be looking at women in animation.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Cartoons, anime, possibly the people who make it.
Yeah. Our fascination with animation. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good one. The fascination with animation.
I do pull them out sometimes. Oh gosh. So yeah, this is monthly episode. The audio for this episode will be available on Tuesday along with the rest of the audio. Please like, share, subscribe on our YouTube, hit the notification bell. Come and join us on the Discord. We are there. We are present. We have the most amazing conversations. I love when my husband's on a close because I know that I have my Discord friends to keep me company all night. It's great. But we've also got Facebook. Anywhere, social media wise, type in Nerdy Up North. We're there. I promise you. You're not alone. We are here. Anything else?
Nope, I think you've covered everything. So I think we can leave it there. So keep your hearts full and your fandoms fierce, people. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.